crime tales to trivia gold. Generations collide, hear the laughter and sighs, exploring our world through curious eyes. Join me on this journey where the light meets the dark, from mysteries unsolved to igniting a spark. Travel and traffic, culture and news, every episode a chance for different views, where love transcends time and space. Let's go. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I see Mumsy is in the house. Great to see you here. And it's Cambodia night. So I've actually got my chroma on. Maybe I should put it more like this so you can see it. I always wear my chroma. This scarf is called a chroma. It's very symbolic of Cambodia. So anyway, so I thought I would start off talking about the oil crisis that's going on around the world right now, and how it's affecting Cambodia and what the government is doing about it. And I haven't seen any other Southeast Asian countries doing the same thing. Thailand is saying to the people, watch out because the gas prices are going up, so deal with it. But Cambodia is taking a different way. They are subsidizing the gas so that the consumers, the Cambodian people, the majority of which are not rich, will not be suffering. So they're subsidizing it so that the price stays low, and they're monitoring the gas stations to make sure that nobody price gouges. So they have set a price of 5,500 real per liter. I didn't do the math to find out what that it was. I think it's 2.2 liters is a gallon. So $1.25. So it's about $2.50 or so, under $3 per gallon. That we pay. I don't know if somebody wants to do the math. I welcome that, either in the chat if you're here live, or in the comment section when the show is over. If you're watching on replay, yeah, please let us know. It's but 5,500 real is 5,000 would be $1.25 plus another 10 cents. So about $1.35 per liter. So if somebody wants to do the math, $1.35 per liter, what is that per gallon? Yeah, so, and I can share a little news story about that with you. Here it is. Fuel prices revised again as government subsidizes, or government subsidies cushion the impact. And here you can see, well, diesel is 6,550 reals, and regular is 5,500 real. And the story's not long, but it goes on to say how, yeah, the government is protecting against price gouging. And yeah, good. They're protecting the citizens and the people from that affecting their daily lives. And another thing, I didn't have a news story for it. I was looking, but I didn't come across it in time before the show started. And that is the banks, the National Bank of Cambodia issued a statement about don't do bank runs. There's no need to do bank runs. If you guys saw my shorts, I did 2 shorts this week. I think it was on Monday when I was on my way to class, and wow, there were lots of people trying to get into a bank to get their money out. Mumsy says it's $5.39 per gallon in California. Yeah. Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, not going to be taking any long trips. You know, I had encouraged Mumsy that she might want to go to the Death Valley in Southern California, because, I mean, Death Valley is one of the driest places on earth. And they knew that because of the winter rainfall and things that had happened this year, that they would actually get blooms of flowers. And it's happening right now. Look it up on Google, Death Valley blooms, or Death Valley blooming, something like that. And I'm sure you can find pictures. We could do that together. Why don't we just do that together? We're done with this. So I will look up Death Valley blooms 2026. And we'll look at some images. So here's some of the types of flowers that you would find there. But instead, this would normally be desert right here, and it's covered in a carpet of flowers. Why doesn't it like make the picture like big where you can see it? I don't know. There's some purple flowers. It used to, that, I mean, look, the preview is smaller than the thumbnail over here in the search. And it used to be the opposite, that you'd get all these small thumbnails in the search. And then when you clicked here, it would make the picture bigger. So I don't like that YouTube's done that. Doesn't happen every year. No, it's like once in 100 years or something. Let's see if I go back to all, if it says since 2016. Well, 10 years. Okay, 10 years. There you go. But yeah, the gas prices there in California are going to prevent you maybe from going to see that. Another thing happening this year is Route 66 is having their anniversary this year in 2026. 100 years old. It's a centennial celebration. So they're encouraging, I mean, all the cities along Route 66 from Chicago to Santa Monica have all these events and festivals and commemorative activities. It goes through 8 states. And I mean, Route 66, people would probably, they've planned to drive Route 66 or at least go visit parts of it. Well, these gas prices are going to affect all of this. Imagine all the planning that's been going on for Route 66 to have its centennial. And people might have to drop out from going, But back to Cambodia. It's not the oil crisis necessarily, but something that the government is doing is banning mobile phone use in classrooms. So I know it's very controversial. Some people think it's a great learning tool, and students need to learn how to be part of this digital age that's coming. But they've made the decision because I guess too many students aren't using their cell phones for studying. They're using, they're being distracted. So they are banned. They are officially banned. And another good news item that I have is that the archipelago in Koh Rong and then also in Koh Kong, coral is spawning. So the coral reef is growing. And so I think that's the only picture. Yeah. So that's good. That's good news. Does anybody have any questions about Cambodia? About what's going on here or anything? Because really, that's all I have for you. That's all I have planned to talk about. Yeah, life here is just day by day. I'm excited that tomorrow I finally get to meet rock star Joe Hang. Let me show you his. See if we go to YouTube. He's got a great channel. Let's see if he comes up. On here, look at all the people that I am subscribed to. Okay. Rockstar Joe Hang. So this is his channel. And he's a Cambodian-American. Says, I am an actor and cinematographer that loves creating content. And he has been doing a lot of content recently about Thailand. And I enjoy watching his videos. Well, he's in Cambodia right now. And hey, Aurora is in the house. You do the same with mobile phones in classrooms since last year. And if anybody doesn't know, that is in Sweden. And anyway, so I'm excited to get to meet him in real life. And so that's a good thing. I'll let you guys know how that goes. Maybe I'll do a quick little short saying hello or something together with him if he wants to. But his channel is in my description below if you want to follow him. Let's see. That's everything. Tomorrow, Scarpetta. I will be doing the review of season 1, episode 2. And if you enjoyed episode 1, then I hope you are ready for episode 2. If you missed episode 1, just go to my channel and look at live streams or look at playlists. There is a Scarpetta playlist. Of course, season 1, episode 1 is the only one in there right now. So it'll be easy to find. But yeah, so tomorrow night I will be going over Scarpetta. I will be talking too, not just about the review, but I'm going to start it off kind of talking about what other people are, not what other people are saying. Okay, some people love it like me, but some people hate it. Some people really hate it. And I want to address the reasons people give why they said they hated it. I was actually thinking about maybe just doing that as a separate video. So I don't know, maybe in the morning I'll do that. I made notes. I have notes. But I have to rewatch episode 2 and make all the detailed notes about everything that's happening and stuff for the actual review. Yeah. So what's going on with you guys? Do you have any questions? You guys know I had baby birds. I had a nest that was in a plant. So it was lower than I'm 5'2", and it was a little bit lower than my eye level. And so first there were eggs, and then there were baby chicks, and then they got big and fluffy, and then they got feathers. And then on Monday, when I came back from teaching, it was the nest was torn up on the ground. I was like, oh no, the dogs ate the birds, you know. I'm thinking that something ate them, but it was only nest. There was no feathers, no pieces of bird, nothing. So I'm gonna be positive that and I was thinking as I went to class and I kind of glanced over there and I could see that they had feathers. I was like, oh, it's not going to be long before they're flying away. And there was 3 of them. I just love animals. This is true. I'm not a big fan of spiders or ants or bugs in general. I'm not a big bug person. I think, didn't my Uncle John have like a beetle collection? Not the musician. I mean, like the bugs, beetles. I think so he had like styrofoam or so he had some kind of board that he had pins and he'd pin the bugs in it. Just kind of into that. I do love fireflies though. They're a bug. The cats maybe got them. Yeah, but the cats are mostly all inside, and the cats don't wander around out where in my back patio because the dogs are loose. So they would get attacked by Popeye. So I don't think the cats did it. And I don't think I don't think the dogs did. I think that when they flew out, either like it attracted their attention and they realized there was a nest up there and got the nest out, or the act of flying away like knocked it loose, and once it fell on the ground, then they kind of chewed it up. But there was no evidence of any birds being eaten, so that's good. I have coconuts. I have 2 coconut trees, and they're full of coconuts. And do you realize that like more people die from a coconut falling on their head than shark attacks? At least years ago. I mean, I haven't seen an updated statistic. And so yeah, these coconuts, I need to get them. See, when Chani was here, then she would call somebody or whatever, and they would climb up and they would get the coconuts. And my deal is I'm not going to charge you anything for my coconuts. You can have them for free. You just give me like 2 or 3 of them to drink, and you can take the rest. Because someone's got to climb up there and get them. So coconut. I have mango trees, and so there's lots of mangoes as well. Mark is in the house having a bug collection. Yes, good morning to you. It's good evening for me. We talked about since you're just joining, I'll do a little recap. The government is subsidizing the gas prices. And so they're subsidizing it so it stays low, which we figured out is about $1.35 per liter. And if you know how to convert $1.35 per liter into what the gallon price is, feel free to add that into the chat. We would love to know. And they're also monitoring the gas stations. They've capped the price, at that $1.35. It's 5,500 real. You've heard that in Thailand about dying from falling coconuts. Exactly. So it makes sense at more expensive hotel areas, they cut them down. At cheaper ones, and at cheaper ones, they leave them to fall down. Yeah. Or the more expensive resorts and things, they might actually kind of put like a net thing around the tree to catch any falling coconuts. I've seen that too. I've got mangoes, plenty of mangoes, tons of mangoes. I'm hoping that when I meet with Joe tomorrow, that maybe he might be able to refer somebody to replace Chani. Fingers crossed. Yeah. I'm going to mention it to him anyway, so we'll see. It would have been so awesome if with the two girls that came and they were cleaning because they were, they cleaned the bedroom that they would have stayed in and they cleaned the kitchen. But then one of the girls got a notice that she got accepted for a scholarship to go study in Hungary. And the other girl didn't want to come alone. So there you go. Darn. So close. At the cheaper places, you'd hear them falling at night. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, I hear mangoes falling every night. The mangoes make a lot of noise. And then there's like people who park their cars under the mango trees and you hear it hitting the top of the cars. And it's like friggin' hailstone, I mean, I can only imagine it's denting the cars. What's the political climate in Cambodia right now? The rest of the world is going crazy. Yeah, everybody's pretty calm. Everything's like going around as normal. It is the month of Ramadan for Muslims, and we do have. I mean, it's the national religion. There's no separation of church and state here. There is a national religion, and that is Buddhism. But the government is extremely inclusive of any religion that wants to be here. They're welcome. And so there's Christians, there's Catholic churches, and stuff, and there's Muslims. And the Muslims are mostly an actual ethnic. So Islam is a religion, but there is an ethnic group called Cham that are Muslim. And they're doing good. There's nothing radical happening or anything. There's no protests. Traveling fools, yo, yo, yo. Is Cambodia pro-Iran? Oh, what a great question. Cambodia is pro-business. Yeah, let that sink in. Cambodia is pro-business. Anybody willing to do business with Cambodia, if you're willing to buy, Cambodia, products from Cambodia for our export, our GDP and exports to go up, they're going to sell you products. If you've got something to sell here, you want to set up a business and start a business, more than welcome. There are not a lot of Iranians here. Yeah, I don't think. I believe there is an Iranian embassy. Let's look. Iran embassy, Cambodia. No, there's not. Maybe it's Iraq or something. Or Pakistan. There's a Pakistan embassy. I know that for sure. But there's an Iranian embassy in Hanoi, so things are typically handled there. There are some students that were in Iran when everything went down. As of March 26th, the Cambodian government is monitoring the safety of its citizens and students in the Middle East, including those in or near Iran. So as of March 11th, all 595 Cambodian citizens and students in the Middle East were reported safe. Now that total, 595, is more than just Iran, but there are some. So look, the Cambodian embassy in Iran, but is based in New Delhi. Okay. In early 2025, so early last year, Iran announced intentions to provide scholarships for Cambodian students, specifically from the Royal University of Fine Arts, to study arts in Iran. My Times. But there is a temporary suspension on sending new Cambodian students over there. Okay. So yeah, so there are some relations, but it's not huge. Did the students get out? I did not hear anything about them getting out. No, it's just the same information. There are some students in Israel as well. It says the current situation is focused on keeping students safe in place. Yeah, no, I didn't hear anything about them coming back. And see, here's the Cambodian students in Israel. Stay vigilant. The ones going to Israel are learning agriculture. But it looks like the ones going to Iran are learning arts. So there's that. Good question. Good question. Thank you, Mark. And since that one event on Monday, there has been no more like bank runs or anything like that. I think the National Bank coming out making a statement helped people not be afraid. But but I don't think that the bank, I mean, I don't know, something was going around social media, but I don't think it was like in America where it's like, oh no, stock up on toilet paper because something could happen. I don't think it was that. It was because there was a Chinese investor here that was running a lot of these scam centers, okay? And his group was called Prince Group. And so there was Prince Bank, and there was properties that you could rent, and there was like all kinds of businesses under the Prince Group. And so he got deported, and so China has him, but there's charges against him, and Cambodian charges against him as well. And so they are they've closed all of his properties and all of his businesses and are liquidating everything. And so that's a real situation, but the government said you just need to file a claim about your money in the bank, and they're going to give people their money back. They're not going to keep people's money just because of his wrongdoings. They will give everybody their money back and then keep the rest, right? But people just needed to file a claim and show their bank account, I guess. But because of that happening, people started getting afraid of like all banks. You got to realize the old people remember the Khmer Rouge, okay? And then in the 90s, I mean, there was civil war. After the Khmer Rouge, there was civil war. And there was like another banking collapse that happened in Cambodia after the Khmer Rouge. So during the Khmer Rouge, when Pol Pot took Phnom Penh, then they bombed the bank and they destroyed the money. They said, nobody needs paper money. It was like pure communism. There's no buying or selling or anything. Everybody just works and is provided for. Okay. Works as slaves, but anyway, it was not a good situation. And so money was gone, right? And then I don't know, somewhere in the 90s, maybe it was in the 80s, people had started trusting banks again and putting money in banks, and they lost everything. So people remember that. So when there's anything that to do with banks, they get scared. So that's that. So what else have you guys got for me? I did fill up my motorcycle with gas because there was also a report that 400 gas stations across the country ran out of gas. So they had to close because they didn't have any more gas. I don't know, maybe I haven't heard any update on that, so I don't know if they've opened again or what, but I thought, well, I better fill up my tank. And it was actually half full when I went to fill it up. So it only cost me like $2.50 to fill it up. Yeah, so and it's still at full. So that's good. And it's the term break right now for where I teach English at a university. They have like 4 terms per year, maybe 5, I don't know, at least 4 terms per year. And so Monday was the final exam. So now I don't have any morning classes until next Wednesday, the next term starts. So that's my life. I still have tutoring in the afternoons with students. So that's good. I have a friend, a friend of mine who's from South Africa referred me to a friend of hers who's also from South Africa. And she is actually written and had TV series produced in South Africa. And she's got a project that she's trying to pitch and everything, a new project, and she wants some help with it. And so, but then she had to go back for her daughter's wedding, and she should be back in, she said, let's get together in March. So I sent her a message. I used Telegram. I sent her a message, said, hey, right now's a really great time if you're ready. And I haven't heard back from her yet. That was just yesterday I sent her the message. How does Cambodia view China? An ally or an enemy? Great question. There's some layers to that, okay? Because there's the government, and then there is the people, right? So about 10 years ago, the Chinese really started coming and doing a lot of investing, okay? They'd always done some investing, okay? But they really started doing a lot of investing and having a lot of workers and stuff here. And it was probably the beginning of scam centers, but that's getting all cleaned up now. I mean, the government is saying that by the end of April, there should be 0 scam centers. The government is going door to door and verifying who lives in each house. Okay. They've already been through my area, and yeah, it's me by myself, nothing to see here, and okay, great, but yeah, they're going door to door to make sure that they get everyone working with online scams. And but about 10 years ago, so that people started renting, they'd be renting and they would pay high prices, for rent. Like, so let's say the rent was 300 and they would be willing to pay 500 or something. So there was kind of this spike in rent because the Chinese were willing to just pay whatever. And, but so people were really excited. I mean, Cambodian people were really excited to have the Chinese money here, right? But it wasn't long before they discovered when somebody would move out, they had totally trashed the house. And so then they weren't so happy anymore, right? So people started being more cautious, okay? Now the government, let me tell you something about the Cambodian government. it's been classified as a least developing country for a long time by the UN. And when you are a least developing country, you have all kinds of aid packages that are available to you, and charities and things like this that operate under the UN, umbrella, and they love going to least developed countries and doing the charity work. Okay, but Cambodia wasn't satisfied with that. So they're like, yeah, free money. We don't have to do anything because the charities are doing it, right? But they wanted to attract business. And so they changed their policies, and they started moving toward going up the tier. And so I don't know what the levels are called, but whatever's above least developed country, once you cross the line going above it, you're no longer eligible to have all those charities, right? And so the free money in that way would stop, but they would get money from business and investment. So for a long time, they were riding the fence. Cambodia was riding the fence. And I say all this because China, you asked about China. China has this thing called the Belt and Road Initiative. And so they're going all over the world on all the continents to build infrastructure projects, because then it benefits them to have ports and airports and bridges and roads and things, okay, canals, whatever. China has been trying to make a new canal in Central America. So you've got Panama, the Panama Canal, and they've been trying to figure out where they can do another canal. So it's not just in Cambodia, but certainly there was a lot of infrastructure projects needed. And so they were putting a lot of money into infrastructure projects. And, but it's kind of like their materials and so let's say a bridge costs $1 million. Well, who are you paying that $1 million to? Well, the Chinese companies are making the money, right? They're shipping in all their materials, and all their people are the engineers, and using Cambodians for just the manual labor that's needed, that's not high tech or anything like that. So most of that $1 million that it costs to build a bridge is going right back to China. Yes, absolutely. Cambodia is part of the Belt and Road Initiative. And I don't know if you had already said that. I hadn't looked at the chat if you had said that before I said it. But yes. Cambodia likes to build relations with everybody. They don't want to be hemmed in to any one side. Okay. So for the military, the US comes over and does military training. China comes and does military training. Australia comes and does military training. Probably Japan comes and does military training. They'll accept that military training from everybody, and learn what they can. So there is a good and open relationship with China. They're not seen as any kind of enemy, but I know that the Cambodian leaders, while they welcome cooperation with everyone, they don't trust anyone. They're watching their backs on everything. They're not blind to the dangers of accepting help from any side. They know that quite often there are some strings that will be attached, right? And so they will weigh whether or not those strings that are attached are worth it. You know, it's like the USAID, US aid money that comes in. The US doesn't want any money going to anything that might have any kind of human rights violations. Okay, you know, but they're really picky about what they help fund, right? And but France, they don't have that same kind of mentality. And like they come in and they fund the arts and they fund medical things and they fund, you know, there's a lot of areas that the French will fund that the US doesn't fund. There are always strings attached. Absolutely. You know, hey, and China wrote the Book of War, or the Art of War, you know, and you think everybody hasn't read that, you know, that's in a diplomatic position? Of course. And they know that whoever they're dealing with and negotiating with has also read it, right? So it's yeah. Any other questions? That was great. That was a great question about China. Trying to think, just like my daily life. I bought some chicken the other day and fried it, and then I've been using it for sandwiches, and I cut up some cubes and made a salad and stuff. I'm kind of craving a hamburger, but I'm not sure if I have enough money. This is, you know, you can use coffee.com, send me $5 and I'll go buy a hamburger. It's like $3.50 for the hamburger and $1 for the fries, so it's like $4.50. So good. They call it a smash burger. It's just local. It's an American guy, you know. He has a place called the Lighthouse, and he does hamburgers. Good ones. It's been a while. It's been at least a week since I've had one. Frugal in the house. You just got done teaching your first class. Oh my gosh. That's news. Did you talk about this in your live stream today? Because I didn't watch that one yet. I saw it in in my notifications. I'm gonna look here. We'll look together. Here's my notifications. Right there. Frugal Wanderer is live. It's already sauna hot. Let me pause it. And I need coffee. I'll give you a like anyway. But I haven't had a chance to look at it. So this is Frugal Wanderer. Oh, I didn't show that. There you go. Sorry. I put share this stream instead, but it was hidden. There's Frugal, and that's his channel. And it is in the description below. You got the job at 5 p.m. and you taught at 8:30. Let me tell you, that's the way it is. I know there's people that are overseas, and it's like they'll contact me and say, "Oh, are there any job openings and stuff?" I said, "Look, it doesn't matter. I mean, unless you're some kind of high-level professional, you know, or with the NGOs, right? Applying outside it doesn't count. I mean, until you're on the ground, they're not even going to look at you. And quite frequently, yeah, when you end up getting a job, it is like, yeah, start yesterday. Traveling Fool says, I just got a cheeseburger and fries for lunch. Gonna eat it at home. So you're back home. I saw one video of the Slob Olympics. You know, all these people were in really fun costumes. And so let me share Traveling Fools. Here you go, Slob Olympic.
Anything helps. You stand here.
And oh, it was so fun. But okay, for example, here you see all these people are in like these great costume kind of things, and I'm trying to look. Is one of these Traveling Fools? You know, I want to see how Traveling Fools was dressed. So please share a picture as a post or something. So that, because I went to your channel, I looked at the post to see if you had posted anything. I want to see how you were dressed. And Gibbo's in the house. You taught an English class. What age group? Trinitario is live from Siem. Hey, Trinitario, great to see you. Live from Siem Reap. Yeah, we're just chatting now because I've kind of like talked about the gas, you know, how the government is subsidizing the gas so that it, and they're monitoring the gas station so that they don't price gouge. Yeah. Wow. Well, if you come to Phnom Penh, look me up. I also mentioned I am meeting a YouTuber tomorrow. His name is Rockstar Joe Hang. And so I'm real excited about that. So what else is going on, people? Yeah, frugal. What? I mean, because it kind of makes a difference if they're kids or adults, young adults, whatever. I'd love to know what age group. You had 5 students, and oh, that's awesome. That's so much easier than having like 30 or 40 students. I had about 15 students in my class this past term. Yes, Aurora was in here. I don't know if she's still here. Aurora, you still here? So we got people from all over the world here tonight. We've got Gibbo in the UK. We've got Aurora from Sweden. She's still here. Oh, it's teaching online. Oh, fun. And let's see. Yes, I teach at a university. I teach English writing. So it's level 3. And so it's how to write a paragraph. And level 4 is how to write an essay. So I teach both of those classes, but this term I only had level 3. And I teach them different types of paragraphs. So for the basics of a paragraph, you got to have a topic sentence, supporting sentences, a concluding sentence, things like that. And then also different types. So there is an opinion paragraph, a narrative paragraph, a process paragraph, etc. Please don't give me those eyes. I don't need your advances. I have a girlfriend. I also do tutoring. So I teach, I specialize in SAT and English literature. So I've got one student right now she's in high school, and her class is going over Romeo and Juliet. So, and what was it before that? I Have a Dream, Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream. She had an assignment about that. So I was able to give her some insight, and you know, she'd done most of it herself. And then I gave her feedback on what she had already done and some areas that she might like I mentioned, because he in the speech toward the end, as he's kind of making a finale, he talks about freedom ringing, like let freedom ring. Yeah, I think that's what he said. Let freedom ring in California, let freedom ring in Alabama, whatever, right? And he was like using repetition. And I said, Peter, Paul, and Mary sang right before he spoke. And of course, she didn't know who that was. I had explained it to her. And I said, I know they did Blowing in the Wind, but I wonder if they did if I had a hammer. So we just Google searched it right there. And sure enough, they sang Blowing in the Wind was their main song. And If I Had a Hammer was their second song. And I said that, and I sang it for her so that she could, hear how the ring, it's the bell of freedom, it's the hammer of justice, it's the bell of freedom, and whatever the third thing is, and you're having bacon and sausage. Sounds so good. But I told her, I said, you watch the video. I mean, there's video, watch the video, and then you can write about it. I said, don't write about what you don't know. Don't write based on what I'm telling you. I said, you have to watch it, and you have to do a little bit of research about that, and then you can add it. And I said, your teacher would be very impressed if you could make that connection, that they, how that fit together, that they had sung that before his speech. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, okay. English literature. And I have another student also in high school that, and also English literature and writing, because he's going to have like some exams later, and he wants to make, and these exams are very particular on, so it's like it's a level like SAT, right? But SAT is all multiple choice and all of this, which I help people study for. But in English literature, then this exam, they give you a topic and they give you a text passage, and you have to write an essay based on that text and the prompt that they're giving you about it. So like discuss the author's motivation for this particular thing, right? Relationships between parents and their children, whatever, right? And then you have to use that text and to find examples and things. So we practice. I have some like little one-page excerpts from various literatures, and we practice with those. Did I take English literature in college as a major? Great question. So I actually was a journalism major, and I did well. So when I was 18 and I graduated from high school and started going to college, I went to San Francisco State University. I was accepted, 3 or 4 different universities, and I think Northwestern in Chicago was one. I think Chapel Hill in North Carolina was one. But I chose San Francisco State University, but then I met my ex-husband. And so it was like, oh, I can't do school and a relationship. So I chose relationship, which was probably stupid. But anyway, back then my major was social work. Okay. Then in my 30s, after my divorce, I decided to go back to school because I was writing for a regional newspaper. So they had the publisher, I'm sorry, it's a regional publisher, had newspapers for small towns in several counties. And so I would write for all the different newspapers, right? And for this one publisher. And I love journalism. I mean, so through that experience, I loved journalism and wanted to do more. And to get a job at a bigger company required a bachelor's degree as a minimum. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go back to school and get a degree. And so journalism was my major, but then I got involved with film. And so I kind of switched it to film. Now, they didn't have a film program at Southern Utah University in Cedar City, Utah, which is where I was going. But what they did have was a Bachelor of Interdisciplinary Studies, a BIS, So instead of a BS, Bachelor of Science, or a BA, a Bachelor of Arts, I got a BIS, Bachelor of Interdisciplinary Studies, through the communication department. Okay. And the reason I knew about it was because I was a journalist and I was covering council meetings of the Dean's Council or whatever. And anyway, what this degree is actually designed for is for somebody who keeps changing their major, right? So they've been attending the university for 10 years. They have they've got thousands of credits, but they don't have enough credits in any one area to get a degree, right? And they just want to get them out. And they want to give them a degree because they've certainly earned something, right? So you have to have, so they make these requirements where you have to have 3 disciplines. So 3 disciplines. And you have to have like a primary discipline and the secondary discipline, and then, which is less credits, and then the least credits for the 3rd discipline. And I thought, well, you know what? That's for people. I mean, they kind of intended it for these people that have been in college for like 10 years. They just want to get them out. And it's a way to combine the credits to mean something. I said, but since there's no film department, I can take broadcasting, which, had a twice a week news show on cable TV, live news show. So I can take broadcasting for all the camera work, the studio lighting, the studio sound, the editing, all of that, right? I could take theater as the 2nd discipline for the directing, the acting, the stage design, and all of that. And my 3rd was English, the English department, for like playwriting and stuff like that. So that's what I did. I'm not 25. I hear a cat in the bathroom in the litter box scratching. I wasn't sure if they were scratching on the door because Piggy's outside, and I thought he was scratching on the door to come in. And but no, somebody else is in the bathroom, in the litter box in the bathroom scratching. They don't have schools in Sweden. Right, Gabo? Yeah, so my experience, once I graduated, while I was at the university, I started a film festival in the year, 2000 was when I started it. I started putting it together. And in 2001 was the first year, right? So it was easy to count the numbers, the first year, 2nd year, 3rd year, 2001, 2002, 2003. But I didn't do that on purpose. It's just the way it happened. So it was called the Thunderbird International Film Festival because Thunderbird was the mascot of the school. And also I actually went to the Paiute Nation and talked with the elders there to make sure that if I called it Thunderbird, there would not be any offense taken. And they said, yeah, no, it's fine. That's great. Have fun. And the same thing with our logo was like a Kokopelli holding a film camera. Well, there was a Thunderbird logo, Thunderbird International Film Festival, but then our awards had like a Kokopelli with a film camera on it. Anyway, so through that process, so since I worked on film projects while I was there in the university and ran this film festival, founded and ran this film festival, I also had connections in LA for the judges. So there were a few people in the community that had film, that were involved with film, and so then they would give me recommendations of people they knew that might want to be a judge and stuff. And I would go to LA and to the American film market in Santa Monica and represent the film festival, looking for films to be in the festival as well as people to be judges. I got Clint Howard that way. Ron Howard's younger brother, Clint Howard, came to be our keynote speaker one year, and such. Okay, Carl Malden came, and everything. Okay, so so I had film, and so when I came to Cambodia, I wanted to help develop the film industry here. Oh, when I graduated, I moved to LA, and I did work on some smaller projects, independent projects, as well as I ended up working in film sales, which is marketing. You're selling films. So I did that. And then when I came to Cambodia, I had a really good understanding of the international film market, of how to sell films internationally, and what Cambodia needed to do to make their films a level that could be sold, and everything, and how to enter the market to make money selling their films, etc. So I wanted to help develop the film market. The film industry here in Cambodia. But that doesn't pay the bills. I have worked on several projects, and I've arranged a lot of permits. So I did like production management for international productions that came, and arranged their permits and things like that. Fixer here, they call it, being like a local fixer. And then I was teaching, and then from teaching, then I also did marketing, and I've done public relations, I've done marketing, I've done I was the editor of a newspaper here, the Khmer Times, and the editor of some magazines, which I have printed copies of the magazines. And but now I'm back into teaching. But what I really want to do is writing and helping people write their memoirs. That's my retirement, is helping people write their memoirs. We only go to Viking school and learn how to deal with the British. So you guys are having fun. Okay, well, it's been an hour. Unless somebody has like some kind of question they want for me, we can go ahead and end it here. Now you know so much more about me. And Aurora is writing in runes. I'm impressed that there's a font for runes. Oh my goodness. So tomorrow night will be the second in the series of Scarpetta, and I will be reviewing and recapping. I will be giving my personal review as well as recapping the episode 2 of season 1. So be sure to join me for that if you're interested. And then it will be the weekend. So everyone have a great weekend. Before anyone runs away, please let me remind you that love transcends time and space. So wherever and whenever you're watching me, I love you. From my heart, thank you so much for spending time with me. When you could be doing so many other things, but you're choosing to be here with me. So I really, really appreciate it. So Scarpetta tomorrow if you want to join me, or join me on Monday for crosswords, or Tuesday for music trivia. Of course, Wednesdays are Cambodia. Interesting show, many subjects. Yes, it's fun. It's fun to just chat with you guys. You guys are directing the ship, You're welcome, Mark. So, all right, well, enjoy the outro. Until next time. Catch you later.